Hey guys, I'm HP. This is Dr. Pink and today's topic is Guitar Secrets Arpeggio Bootcamp. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button and also join the HPCrazy Guitar Academy with a free member account or a premium member account if you want to download the tabs which come along with this tutorial. So what are we talking about today? Arpeggios. Everybody loves arpeggios, everybody wants to play arpeggios. A lot of people fail with arpeggios. So let's check out what are arpeggios about. What is a realistic way of working with arpeggios? You know, a lot of people think about this classical, this classical wild arpeggio stuff. We're going to check that at the end of this tutorial. But I first want to show you a reasonable way to work with arpeggios, on what is really meant to be, and then we're going to get into the more extreme stuff. I'm going to show you the tricks I know to get better with arpeggios, and so it's going to be two parts. The first part is the reasonable way, and the second part is the insane way of dealing with arpeggios. So let's get started. Alright guys, I already said we start with the reasonable part of dealing with arpeggios. That's the thing which probably most of you or talked to, because that's what is manageable on an amateur level. And we want to understand what is an arpeggio and how is it used in my soloing. What is an arpeggio? When we're talking about, let's say, a tune in G major. G, C, D, C, G. So these are the chords, and the arpeggio is nothing else than, you know, when we have a tune in G, this is the scale G major, which goes along with a tune in G major. But if you have, a progression, you want to solo melodic on the chords, you need to know the arpeggio notes. What are the arpeggio notes? The chord notes. So if you want to find out which are the arpeggios, when you just grab a G, this would already have been an arpeggio, So these are target notes. When you solo anything, you should end up your melody, well, at least in some genres, on one of the chord notes, which is the root, the triad, and the fifth. If you the third and the fifth when you talk about triads, okay? When you talk about 7 chords, it's the root, the third, the fifth, and the seventh. This creates if you are talking about triads, we have the root, third, fifth. So this is an arpeggio. These are the 3 notes which you should be targeting. When we go to C, we have the root, the third, the fifth. Or if we take the 7th, then we have an arpeggio with 4 notes. And with the D, and there you can find those notes inside the G major scale. Yeah. Now if you want to be more precise, then you start to think about the scale starting on the root note of any chord. So this will be this here, G. This will be, now we're talking about the modes. D, no, G Ionian. When we do the same note starting on the C, this is called C Lydian, because the intervals are different, but still inside these notes you find the 1, the 3, and the 5. We're always seeking 1, 3, 5. And on the D, we're starting from here. This creates D Mixolydian. And 1, 3, 5. And the arpeggios are always 1, 3, 5 or 1 flat 3, 5. In case of minor chords. Now we just had major chords. When you do this whole thing from each note of the scale, this is called the diatonic chords. So if you put them in one row, G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished, and I cannot grab this up here anymore, G. I have the big fingers. So these are now the chords which are created through the G major scale, and this creates the modes plus the arpeggios, always 1, 3, 5, okay? And if you want to find out the arpeggio notes, just grab the chord inside the mode you're playing or the scale you're playing, and you will find the notes which are target notes in your soloing. Okay? Or you can, I mean, classically influenced guys, you can play the arpeggios fast up and down. That will be the classical approach, but we're coming to that later. So that's the way it's done. These are the arpeggios. A minor, or you can also select A minor here. Or when we take the barre, B minor, and so on, C, D, E minor. Oh, it's getting tight now. The F sharp is, I have to play it down here. So this creates, this is the exception. On the 7th we have a diminished arpeggio. This is 1, flat 3, flat 5. That's a diminished arpeggio. 1, flat 3, these are the intervals. Root note, flat 3, flat 5 related to the root note. So these are the arpeggios. And these are the notes you're referring to when you solo to any chord. You know, as an example, we have in a chord progression G, A minor to D. So we have G, we start with G to A minor, arpeggio notes. So you can make any phrase, but you end up with one of the notes of the arpeggio to D. And back to G. That's what arpeggios are for. So, as I said, for beginners, the easiest way to find your arpeggio notes is just grab the chord, and there you are. These are the ones. Take your scale which you're using and see where inside the scale they are, and then you start targeting those notes. And that's the easy approach, okay? And that's the one which is recommended for most of you guys. Now we're going to the second part. This is not a tougher one. Now we want to bring a system into the whole thing and learn the different patterns which can be used. And again, we're using, I already showed these diatonic chords from G, A minor, B minor, C major, D, E minor, and F sharp diminished to G. And we're taking not only, this will be the E-type chords, you know, from the Cage system, the E-type chords, or we can use the A-type chords. And here, as an example, we could do it on G, then it would start up here. There will be the G, the A minor, the B minor. Oops, getting a little bit tight for me up here. C major, D major, E minor, and F sharp diminished. It's not my favorite chord. And to G. Okay. And also we're using the C type. That will be this. G. A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and F sharp diminished. And so we're using 3 taps, then you cover up everything which is used, you know. And you cover up with the patterns mostly used. So now let's check out the different. We're checking out the A-type arpeggios and the E-type arpeggios and the C-type arpeggios. Okay? So let's start with the easiest one, probably most. Let's do is keep the example. No, let's do it on C. Okay. We just for better visibility, we're doing now the key of C. So it will be C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C. Now we're using A-type. Now the full arpeggio would be this here. So this is an A-type arpeggio going up to the octave, and there you have this stretch thing. Next one will be the D minor. And so on. E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished, and C. So these are all types, and these are also technical exercises. For most of you, these exercises are really tough, so take your time on it. And while you do, you start with alternate picking. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And so on. We're coming to the sweep picking in the extreme part at the end of this tutorial. So with alternate picking, A-type. E-type would be this here. You could do either this, but that's really not practical. I mean, nobody can use it like this, so I would recommend this, and it doesn't cover all notes of the arpeggio. We want to cover all notes of the arpeggio. This leads to this figure here. G, now we're taking G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished, and G, as before. So leads to this figure here. And check out the little barre. Oh, I forgot to mention here. On the A-type, don't forget you're making a barre with the middle finger over three strings. So you need to learn to roll your finger in a way that you can cover this. And here we have a little barre here with the ring finger. And this is the difficulty. And here we have the little barre with the middle finger again. Okay, G major. And make alternate picking, down, up, 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 down. A minor, here, here. Now the barre with the ring finger. The stretch here. You could also do without the stretch here. That's up to you. In this case, it's not really practical to go to this position. If you want to play fast, you need to do the stretch. B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and F sharp diminished. Diminished is a little bit problematic. here, here, now with the middle finger, ring finger, index, pinky. Yo, so this is the shape E-type. Now let's do C-type. They are quite challenging, I must say, and we're using the structure from D major to E minor to F sharp minor. So these are the diatonic chords in D major. Then we have F, G, B minor, C sharp diminished, and back to D. So these ones are, yeah, some not so easy. So we're starting here on the third of the chord. So this is the F sharp, and then this is the shape for the C-type major chord. Then we go to E minor, starting also on the flat third, E minor, here, 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 and there's a shape for the minor, go to F sharp, to G major, to A major, to B minor, and to C sharp diminished. That one is quite tricky here. 12, so 16, 14, 12, 14, 12, 50. And back to D. Yo, so these are the three types of chords on shapes which you can use. Now here comes a trick. If you want to practice that stuff, you can also make, to learn to know where these notes are. What I often do is, this here. As an example, on the C major here, this one, you can make this stuff. This way you really learn where these notes are, and you also learn to move your fingers. It's a really great exercise. And now we go to the D minor. And so on, E minor. F major. G major. A minor. And now comes the B diminished. That one is a bit tricky. Here like this. Oops. And also try to do it up here. For me it's really hard, because I have such big fingers, and up here it's getting really quite tough. You can do the same thing with the minors. We did diatonic chord progression in major. You can also do it in minor, just to have another vibe, but it's the shapes don't really change. Okay. Now we do 7 chords. Or no, let's do 7 chords. So you need to know which are the 7 chords on those. Like on G, let's go back to G. G major, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7, D 7, A minor 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and G major 7. Oops. Now we can take again the E-type chords, and we just add the 7th, and it creates this shape. Okay, that's a G major 7 arpeggio. And next will be A minor 7. We just add to the E type triad arpeggio. This flat 7 creates this shape. And so on, B minor 7. C major 7. D, now we add a 7th to the shape of the D major. Creates this here. E minor 7, same as A minor 7. And F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Here a bar with the pinky. And back to G major 7. Yo, we can do the same thing on the A type. Creates this here. To the existing C major, we add the 7th and creates this here. On the D minor, we add a flat 7, creates D minor 7. Same on E minor 7. On the F we add a 7, creates a F major 7. On the G we add a 7th here. A minor 7 remains as the others, and here we have a B minor 7 flat 5. It's like this. No. And back to C major 7. Yo, we only do that, well, I only do that on E and A type chords, and then just it's great technical exercise and so on. Yo, so now we have the triads, the 7 chords in the shape, in the A, E shape, and E type, A type, and connected to their mode. Yo, with that material you can already do a lot, because you know where are the chord notes. You start to play melodic, you know, you play a C major 7 chord, and you just target those notes out of the arpeggio. And sometimes you can use an arpeggio as an opening phrase, and that's really great. To G. And so on. That's the most efficient way to work with arpeggios, you know, and that's what I recommend for most of you guys. Now we come to the insane part. If you want to really pressure it, and I'm personally working on this stuff, it's really hard to get it fluently. Sweep picking with the same shapes, but now instead of alternate picking we make sweep picking. What I still use it for slower stuff, you know, just the trick is just you do down, up, down, 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 up, up, pull off, up, 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 up. This way you can play this stuff more fluently. See? The same stuff here, but different picking technique. And so on. And if you're getting faster, when you do it even faster, that's a really insane part. Then you just sweep. So then you make it, you know, you sweep like a brush. That's really hard stuff, and if you want to use this in your regular playing, you really need to practice this stuff a lot. Now this on the A type, it's really easy, but on the E type, this thing doesn't work. Well, it's somehow, but so in this case, you can use the regular bar chords. You just need to add one more note to make the whole thing working. So you just put down the bar A. It's all downstroke now. And now pull off and down upstroke again. On the minors. And C major. The shapes are all the same. D major. These ones are really tough. On the diminished, that doesn't really work. Somehow it does. Yeah, but not with this technique. And this one probably works when you know. Whereas really, this is insane technique. And so on. And you can also do the C-type chords with the same technique. All down, all up. See? Or even faster. Yeah, they really need to warm up. You know, this is really the insane part. You probably will never use this in any soloing, or maybe just for 10 seconds, so probably it's not even worth to work weeks and weeks on this. But what really works is, you know, sometimes they have this effect. You know, for stuff like this, it can be really nice. And so on, and so on, and so on. Yo guys, that was the Arpeggio Guitar Seekers Arpeggio Bootcamp. Arpeggios is really a technical thing. If you see the way as at the beginning, just understanding that these are target notes and just need to learn the target notes, that's what works for probably 70% of you, 80% of you guys out there. That's pretty much enough. You don't need to get fast, but it's really worth also to learn these shapes, you know, just to know where these notes are. You don't need to play it fast, but just that you know where they are, you know. And so it also makes sense to really work on the advanced stuff. The insane stuff, I would not recommend it. I mean, I practice the stuff, and every day I practice, I ask myself, do I really need to do this? Because I will never use it. I don't know where. And there are some guys out there who can do that, like Frank Gamble or a few players. They can use this stuff. It's quite impressive. But does it really make the main thing of a solo? That's the decision everybody has to ask themselves on their own. Is it worth to practice hours and hours to have these short moments of... Well, I gave it a try. I'm on it since 2-3 months and see how far I get. Maybe one day it works out fine and it just is like, oh, easy. But it's really probably only for pros. Who knows? I will tell you when I know. At the moment, I think it's just for guitar nerds who really enjoy work on stuff, you know, over months to see something going on and some result. But the first 2 parts is really for everybody to really know arpeggios and know where the notes are and try to, you know, get a, sorry, a melodic thing. You know, that you can solo in a way that you can hear which chords you're playing. And this is not about speed, it's about knowing where the notes are. And that's what I really recommend for everybody to work on that stuff. And it's really worth getting these shapes done. And as I said, E-type, A-type, and C-type chords are way enough to cover the whole thing over the entire fretboard. I mean, you can also do the other ones, but these 3 are way enough, and it's have enough work to do on that. Yeah. Good. One more to say. I wrote 7 pages of exercises for you guys. They're available in the HPCrazy Guitar Academy, which just what I showed here, that you have it written down, then you can print it out and work on it for a few months. But keep it slow. All this stretch stuff can create injuries. Keep it slow, relax, enjoy it, make pauses when something hurts, stop immediately and make 1 day break, and then see, and then put the speed down. Don't pressure it too hard. The day will come where this stuff works, but it's maybe not tomorrow, maybe it's in 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you know, stuff like that. Just keep it easy going and just enjoy it. And it's really for technique nerds. Those who, I'm one of those, I enjoy to work on technical stuff. Even I rarely use it somewhere, and so it's really very punctual when I play. I never use this stuff. Why did I practice it so much? Because I enjoy it. See it that way. Being Dr. Pink or saying goodbye.